guest judges.
Hello, Dan. How you doing? You
What are you up to, bro?
I'm actually watching the football, mate. This Surfshark VPN is a lifesaver, mate. You can watch the football with a dodgy Wi-Fi, even at the Emirates when you've got a big crowd there and everything like that, watching the football. Unbelievable.
Easy to set up? Well, it must be if you've done it, mate.
Oh, very, very funny. Even abroad you can watch all your favourite programmes. It's like being at home, mate.
And that's exactly what you guys can do too. Click the link in the description for Surfshark VPN. Yes, people, welcome. We are back. I say we are back. I am back. I'm on my own today because I wanted to. It's been a while since I've been on my own. Let me just sort my lighting out. Should have done this before, shouldn't I? I feel personally. What's wrong with that light? Why is that not working? There we go. That's better. I feel like it's been too long since I've just had a chat with the camera and yourself. So I thought we'd do it today. Loads of drama. Loads of commotion, loads of speaking about Saka and Bayern Munich and Arsenal aren't ready now. And sometimes it's nice to sit back a little bit and then soak it up and then get some opinions, which I've done in the last couple of days on shows and in like social media platforms and chats with friends. And I just want to make it clear, Arsenal are not out the tie. But you would think that we were. The amount of disappointment, including myself and others, was a little bit doom and gloom. And I think that shows how far we've come. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. The last time we faced these guys, it was 5-1, 5-1, 10-2 on aggregate. So we're going to talk on Bayern Munich. We're going to talk on the incidents that people have been speaking about, whether it be Saka's penalty, Harry Kane's potential red card, Gabriel picking up the ball. We're going to talk a little bit about Arsenal's weekend, that we have a huge game against Aston Villa, that we cannot allow the momentum to be lost. We've got to keep going in the league because we are playing some of the best football in the Premier League, and that needs to continue. But before we do start, make sure you do me a favor and like this video. Make sure you like the stream and hit subscribe. All you've got to do is click the thumbs up button, hit subscribe, and that's you done. We're trying to get to 20k, which is the next target, and we're trying to hit towards 500 likes at every single show that we do. So please make sure that you are part of that if you are watching. Make sure you click on the pinned comment in this section, which will see Surfshark VPN, the promo of myself and Lee Judges. Make sure you're on it. We've both got it. Must have. So please make sure you click on that, because that will give you all that you need when you go abroad on holiday. It will just be like watching TV as you do at home. So please make sure that you do that. All you've got to do is click on the link in the description, or of course Surfshark VPN. If you do want one of these behind me, then make sure you go and email in the description Russell Hogg. His email address is in the description of this video, russellhoggphotography@hotmail.com, and he will sort you out one of these canvases with the guns and cannons on it. You've got loads of colors and quite a lot of merch actually that he'll be able to show you, that people are now putting around their bedrooms. So please make sure that you go and support Russ. Massive gooner, big season ticket holder, and a top bloke. So make sure that you go and support Russ as well. And with the Grand National coming up, if you do like a bet, you've got Bread and Honey bets as well. That is in the Patreon link in the description. Make sure you go and get on them with all their tips, because they're doing very well. And this weekend is obviously Grand National, and then we've obviously got the boxing, Formula One, football, tennis, whatever sport is yours. Please make sure you go to Bread and Honey Bets, and they will sort you out in the Patreon link. Okay, let's talk Arsenal. That's why we're here, isn't it? Essentially, great to see you all. Big up to Eros, big up to Guna Matata, big up to Steve Reynolds. Hope you're well, my friend. Big up to Gotanelli, big up to King Mo. Great to see you all here early. Let's get into what has been the commotion of Arsenal Football Club playing Bayern Munich at the Emirates. I think there's a lot of people talking about this game still today. Was it a penalty? Was it not? Did Gabriel deserve to be given away a penalty for that nonsense, picking it up after David Raya? Should Harry Kane have been sent off? Let me give you my honest opinions. I spoke about it briefly with the guys on This Is London last night. I spoke about it briefly as well on a number of shows that I've done with Lee Judges. And I spoke about it on TalkSport and AFTV. Let's come to the Gabriel and David Raya situation first, because that was the one that I believe happened first. Now, at the time when I was at the Emirates, I had absolutely no idea that it had happened. Yeah. And looking back, there's now Twitter compilations of how we take goal kicks, and it is basically doing that all the time. So there is Law 18, which apparently allows a referee to use common sense at any point that they see scenarios like this happening. So that's why he's not given a penalty. That's the excuse that people are using anyway, is that the referees use common sense and has said it's a goal kick. There's no advantage. Bayern have lost from it. It's not like there's been an incident where the striker was through and one of them has made a mistake that has allowed a penalty to potentially be given, because otherwise Bayern Munich would have been through. It's a goal kick. Now, if people want penalties given for that, then fair play, because it does state in the laws that can be given. But the referee has stated in Law 18, apparently, that you can use common sense. And you could, for example, potentially look at the scenario of perhaps Gabriel didn't hear the whistle and he got confused and he picked it up, put it back down, and then took the goal kick. I don't think that's cheating, if I'm honest with you. I don't look at that and go, what a cheat. That's absolutely shocking. It's bang out of order. Both of those guys should have been sent off. It's a disgrace. I do look at it, though, however, with Gotonelli in the chat, as stupidity. This is showing that we are not ready at the elite level of football. You've got a 26-year-old goalkeeper, 26-year-old centre-half, however old they are now, that aren't young kids, that have done something stupid. So apparently there's no law 18. It must be 17 law then. One of the laws says it. I don't know what number it is. I haven't looked myself, but I've just been spoken to by a couple of people about it. For me, I don't understand why they're doing it. What is all this about? Why is this? Give it to the goalkeeper, give it to the defender. The defender puts it down, pass it to the goalkeeper, can't pass it back to the defender. Why can't we just get on with it normally? Why do we have to have this routine and superstitious stuff? Let's just actually play the game. So that one was frustrating. And I believe that when the referee has noticed that he's made a mistake there, he's then going to look at the potential Saka penalty and think, what do I do now? I stand by it. I don't think it's a penalty. And I've explained my reasons why. But every time I give a reason why, there's also a yeah, but. So let's probably look at it sensibly. It might be a 50-50 then. Because the amount of people I've spoken to, and it's probably been 20 or 30 people now, I would say it's 50-50 as to who thinks it's a penalty and who doesn't. I still stand by Saka should have shot. Straight away when you say Saka should have shot, all you get is, how is he supposed to? Because his leg's not planted, his right foot's not there. For me, you can either shoot with your right foot first time, or you cut inside. Now, the minute he's cut inside to shoot, yeah, which we all know he's going to do because that's what Saka does, bread and butter, right? Neuer has come out and he's there. Now, if you look as many times as you want, does Neuer foul Saka or does Saka kick Neuer? Because Saka's got two options. He can kick the ball or he can go into the player. Neuer is not taking out Saka. Neuer has stood there. Now, when you freeze frame it, Neuer's leg comes out. So then people will say, well, he's stuck his leg out and Saka's gone over it and it's a blatant foul. Can't really defend that. But Saka's gone into the player. So it's not really Manuel Neuer's lack of movement / movement. It's Saka's movement. There is no way. There's no way Saka has to run into him. There's no way Saka has to roll around the floor with his arm up in the air as if he's broke his leg. That's disappointing for me. Bukayo Saka's my favourite player. I love the kid and I'll stick up for him all day long. I think he gets an unfair amount of criticism. I think people that do overhype him then allow a rival fan base to state that everybody overhypes him and actually he's no better than an Andros Townsend or an Aaron Lennon. Shocking. Yeah? Poor, lazy analyst, in my opinion. But when you look at it, in this scenario, I can see why people are frustrated that he's dived. I can see why people are frustrated that he's rolling around on the floor with his hand up in the air. I can see why people are frustrated that he's not taken the shot and gone for goal. And I have to say that if we look back at this game now, those two decisions, we could look back at and go, did that cost us? And the two decisions I'm talking about is Saka and the Ben White situation. Now, we go 1-0 up with a brilliant goal from Saka, and Ben White is in all the acre of space in the world, and all he's got to do is slot it home. And he chooses to go straight at the keeper. Rush of blood to the head, not normally used to being in that position. You can put the blame and say, well, you know, make an excuse and say he's not a centre forward if you want. But let's be real, bottom left, there's a massive amount of space for him just to slot it home. And he ain't done that, man. He ain't done that. So I don't feel like we've got any excuse for not taking 3 points in that game. I feel like we will look back now and go, we could have been 2-0 up and we allowed Bayern Munich back in the game. The other thing I think we did was I think we disrespected Bayern Munich. And I'll come back to what I mean by that in a minute. Then we move on to the Harry Kane red card scenario. I saw today on Further Arsenal, they were saying, oh, it's more of an orange card. It's either a yellow or a red. And if you're saying it's an orange, then it's a yellow, right? I think it's a red card because I think he knows exactly what he's doing, and I think it's intentional to elbow Gabriel. I think he hit him in the head, in the face, in the front tooth, in the jaw, in the neck, in the chin. I couldn't give a damn. Yeah, he's connected with Gabriel. He's going to make the most of it, but that's what happens. And he should have been sent off. He's not trying to gain advantage by leaning into his man. That is not leaning into your man. That's leaning into your man. Yeah. So when you're looking at somebody and your arm and elbow is up here, there's the potential that you're probably going to be in trouble. And Harry Kane is known for being a very, very dirty player. That's just facts. That doesn't make him a bad player because he's brilliant. He's world class. Make him a dirty player. For me, it's a red card. And I can see why the referee has not stated that that is 100% intentional in live play. But when you look back at it like we have now, just like we have at Saka, you can now see why he's making these decisions. So is the referee been a shambles that game? Potentially he's got some incidents wrong, right? But he's got the Gabriel one wrong, but apparently he can use common sense. The Harry Kane one should have been a red card, but actually you can look at it live and see that perhaps why he's not been given. And then the penalty decision, I'm still working out whether it was or wasn't. So I've got to look at it realistic times and say that that referee had a very difficult job. I can't lie. That wasn't an easy job for the referee, was it? That wasn't a job that I look at and the referee and go, do you know what? Like, fair play, ref. Like, or ref, that was a simple one to get right or wrong. I don't think it was. I don't think any of this has been simple. I really can't stress enough how to referee with incidents like that. So therefore, I've got a little bit of sympathy for him. I'm not saying he had a good game before everyone gets on my back. I'm not saying the ref wasn't to blame. But you look back at a football match and you think, right, the ref got this wrong. The ref should have had that. The ref should have sent him off. There's a penalty there. How the hell have we got away with that? What's going on? You have to look at yourself as to why game. And I don't think Arsenal were good enough on the night. I thought we wasted a chance at Ben White. I think we had a header as well that looked like it could potentially gone in, but that was wasted. Was it Gabriel or someone else? To be fair to him, I watched it again, but that could have gone on target. Other than that, I don't think we really did much to create. I don't think we did much to hit on goal. I don't think we really disturbed Neuer as much as we wanted to. And it was disappointing because we had 60,000 fans there. They had no fans whatsoever. We needed to take advantage of that and make the most of it. We didn't. We now go to the Allianz Arena on Wednesday after a tough game at Villa at home, knowing that we have to win the game to go through. Because we don't win the game, it's going to extra time or penalties, and we know what happens there. It's a flip of a coin. We have to go there and we have to win. And unfortunately, we've put ourselves into a tough situation now. I will say this. The errors for the goals, from an Arsenal perspective, were poor. And it weren't just one or two people. It was a collect, really. Like, for me, the first goal, Raya, I don't know what he's doing. But that's had a domino effect on Gabriel, Kivior, Rice, all of them. Because the keeper, I don't think they know where he is. So now they're like, well, this keeper's out of position. That's completely taken us to a new level. So we've now got mistakes that have cost us through players who have been very reliable this season. Ben White, Gabriel, Saliba, who I didn't think was his best, Raya, Kivior. All of those players deserve to be in the team because they've proven this let's say this calendar year that they've been an absolute force. And a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, people are saying, how do we create chances against Arsenal, let alone score against us? But Kivior got skinned all night by Leroy Sané. I was stunned that they took him off when Zinchenko come on. I thought that was a match made in heaven for Sané, but didn't get to see it, luckily. And then Gnabry, I know he scored. He didn't really skim Ben White all night, but his pace caused problems for us. And the penalty, again, Leroy Sané causing problems. Saliba's caught him. Now, he's dived and he's gone down like a madman, but he's dived after being fouled, if that makes sense. You either dive or you're fouled, but in this case, he actually has been touched and he's gone over, like pretty much done a roly-poly when he's been touched in the box, right? So it's given Harry Kane penalty, no chance for Raya. Didn't even try, to be honest. It was poor. And the game is completely turned on its head. Where we think a great start, early goal from Saka, Ben White can make it 2-0, we find ourselves 2-1 down and we're chasing the game. And in the second half, I actually thought it was pretty poor. Like the first half, people sort of said, what was that first half all about? We lost our heads. But the first 15, 20 minutes, we were good. In the second half, let's be real, it is poor, man. It was poor. But we got back into the game. We got back into the game. And that was what mattered. We got back into the game when we need to. Have I turned the comments off? Nah, I will put comments up, trust me. If you've got any questions for me, let me know. I'll star them. If you've got any super chats, I'll read them out towards the back end of the show. But listen, these performances are not what we want to be seeing because it doesn't fill us with confidence, right? But what I will say is the subs actually change things. Now, I don't know if Mikel Arteta really got the team lineup massively wrong, right? It wouldn't have been my starting lineup, but I don't look at it and go, what is he doing? So, for example, Raya would have started for me, White-Silly would have started for me, but Tomiyasu would have played at left back. And when he brought him on at Brighton, I thought, good, that's because he's going to come and play midweek, but he didn't. Kivior played, he ain't played since to have. Zinchenko for me is one that I wouldn't have played against Leroy Sané or Gnabry or Coleman. So it would have been Tomiyasu. I think he's our best defender. I really do. Aerially, he's our best. But we weren't playing him. And it was a shame. And he didn't come on. So is he fit enough? We don't know. And that's the question mark I have because people go, why not play him? Why not play him? What's he not starting for? Why is he only just coming on? Because the fitness people know better than we do. The fitness coach, the staff, Arteta, is aware of who's fit and who's not. And I do believe that Arsenal fans sometimes look at that and forget we don't train with these guys every week. So we have no idea. We have our preferred 11, of course. I have for the weekend, and I'll share that with you soon. But we don't know 100% how fit players are. So we have to sit back and sometimes trust the staff to get that right. The other player I would have potentially started for this one was Thomas Partey because I feel like in transition he's better than Jorginho. Away from home, Jorginho plays for me. But at the Emirates, I thought Partey should have started. Happy to see Martinelli. If he wasn't fit, like he clearly was not, then he should have played Jesus. Now, he really did make a difference, Jesus, when he came on. For the goal, I thought he was great. His feet were so quick. And he's passed that to Trossard, who yet again has come on and proved to be an impact sub. The super sub of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer types is now being mentioned in the same bracket as Leo Trossard. Now, I'm not going to go to the heights to say that he's going to be at that level and we're going to win things using Trossard like Man United won things using Solskjaer, but you can see the comparison in terms of what difference he makes when he comes on. And actually, it's scoring. It's not just making a difference to create like Jesus. He's actually coming on and banging them in. Brighton, he goes through and he scores. Against Bayern Munich, he scores. And it's a player you look back on now for £26 million that was an absolute bargain. I think he's 28 years old. It's not like the guy's going to be around for a couple of years and then disappear. This guy could be with us for 3 or 4 years, and I think he could definitely bring what I believe we need contribution-wise to the table. I've been a big fan of him, to be fair, for a while, and I actually do quite like him still in that false nine role. But when he starts, it's not quite the same for some reason. He needs to come on. And at the moment, he's showing why he's a super sub. And that needs to continue for me. Really, really happy with his technical ability. I think the guy's got so much quality about where well, in my opinion anyway, I think he's got so much quality with both of his feet. I think he's very, very quick-footed. His technical ability is fantastic. Shame he can't take corners because that's the only thing I've been disappointed with him on. But everything else with this guy is brilliant. I think he's a real, real good talent. I know he's not got the pace of Martinelli, but when he's coming on as an impact sub, yeah, he's making a difference, man. And I'm a big, big fan of his. I really am. And I think that he's been a really good signing since January. Contributed last season, has contributed this season. And I think you'll look back at January signings and think that alongside Aubameyang and Arshavin, he's definitely right up there for me as being one of the best that we've seen. So, yeah, big, big fan of Leandro Trossard. But I do feel like going into this second leg, we now need to be, one, aware of how we get through the tie, but two, we've got to kind of put it at the back burner for now because Sunday is going to be massive. Sunday is going to be so big because it's going to be pressure. Have Arsenal slipped up? Are they going to lose momentum? Who are they going to start with? Are they going to utilise their squad? Are they going to rotate? How are they going to keep everyone fit for these 2 games? And the question for me is, does Arteta start strong, bring players off, or does he rotate and bring players on? This is a real tricky one. We saw against Luton that he started weaker. He used Nelson, he used Smith Rowe. He brought on Eddie Nketiah and players like that. I feel like, although that worked, it would be foolish to do that against Aston Villa. A side, by the way, who are very inconsistent at the moment, that have lost Douglas Luiz in this game. But do we make 2 or 3 changes? Or do we completely rotate? Do we start strong, take our 5 best players off, ready for Bayern Munich next week? It's tough, man. Like, really tough. I can't lie. And I don't know, I can't help but feel that we just need to make a couple of changes, and that's it. And we just try to do what we can to get through these Champions League games alongside our league fixtures. There's a lot of people that are really conflicted between going for one more serious than the other. I don't think we can do that. I think we have to be serious for both. But we're going to have to make changes because the same 11 players can't play. Martin Odegaard can't play 90 minutes in every single fixture from now to the end of the season, League and Champions League. Neither can Saka. Neither can Declan Rice. Neither can Saliba or Gabriel. And they've been our best players this season, right? We can't play them every single game. That's not how it works. That's not going to happen. So I feel personally we're going to have to go a little bit different. Yeah, not nothing crazy, not nothing mad, but we're going to have to change it, right? So what would I do on Sunday? Let me show you. This is the team I would go with. I have to say that we don't know that this is to be the team, by the way, before we go there. It's not something I look at and go, this is 100% the team. This is what I would do, right? David Raya, we know, will be in goal. Ben White, we know, will be right back. Saliba and Gabriel. I would play Tomiyasu. Why? Because that's the left back I'm playing on Wednesday night, and he needs minutes. I need to see that this guy's fit in a 90-minute game so that he can play on Wednesday night. Because this isn't like, don't play Tomiyasu for 90 because he'll be knackered for Wednesday. This guy needs games, yeah? So I'm more than happy to bring Zinchenko on and give him 75 minutes, but he needs at least 60 to 75 minutes, Tomiyasu, if we're going to be playing him on left back, because we can't put Kivior or Zinchenko against Sane. We can't do that, right? So for me, it has to be Tomiyasu left back. That is the back 5 I would go with against Bayern Munich. So let's play him for this game, yeah, and get him ready and suited and fit and well drilled for that game. Then we play our midfield that has been crying out to be played all season. Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, and Martin Odegaard. They're the 3 I want to see in midfield for Villa. Because Jorginho, for me, definitely gets a nod, in my opinion, away from home at Bayern Munich, because I feel like we need that player. But I don't feel like we need him for Villa. And I felt like he got a bit eaten up the other night, Jorginho, if I'm honest, against Bayern Munich. So Thomas Partey plays. Now, when Partey come on, he made a great creation for the Saka penalty chance. He also looked pretty good going forward with a couple of passes. But when he came on, he made some bad errors again. Passing-wise, didn't quite look 100% fit. This guy needs minutes again. We can't keep having unfit players on the bench and keeping them on the bench. We've got to give them minutes. Otherwise, our squad's never going to strengthen. It's just going to be like, play this guy for 10 minutes, but that's all he's got from now to the end of the season in every game. I don't want to be seeing that. So for me, it has to be Thomas Partey for this game. And I want to see him have a good game. And I want to see him have a good fit game as well. Yeah. If you're bringing on Jorginho for him or somebody else for him, that's fine. But it needs to be after the 70-minute mark. This guy needs minutes in his legs. He needs to prove that he can stay fit. So that's the midfield 3. Then I go into the front 3. Kai Havertz was poor against Bayern Munich, I thought. But because I would actually play Jesus up front against Bayern Munich, and a lot of people might disagree with that, but I would, and I'd bring Kai Havertz on. I would play Kai Havertz in this one, and I would play Jesus wide and Martinelli left. Now, let me explain why. Martinelli needs minutes. He does not look fit. There is no way he looked fit fully against Bayern Munich. That's why he come off. But he wasn't horrendous. He was quiet, but not horrendous. So for me, it would have to be Martinelli starting. And I think he'll have a good game against Villa. I think he can get in behind. They've got Konza or Cash that's playing. And I think it's going to be Konza, who's a good player, but I think we can get in behind him. So I'm going for Martinelli's pace on that left-hand side. Jesus, he plays, and Saka is on the bench. Saka needs to be brought on. Saka got a knock at the end. He's hobbling. He was hobbling against Brighton. This guy needs to be rested so that he's fit to go against Bayern Munich. We can bring Saka on, and I think we should, and I think it'll be a great sub. But that's what I would do. Jesus plays wide, Havertz up top. Now, let me get it right. I imagine the back four will probably be that back four with Kivior instead of Tomiyasu. I imagine Jorginho will play instead of Partey, and I imagine that Saka will play instead of Jesus, and that will probably be the 11 Arteta goes with. But this is my 11, right? This is the one I would do. And I would be bringing on Saka. I'd be bringing on Trossard. I'd be bringing on Smith Rowe for Martin Odegaard. Jorginho can come on, maybe for Declan Rice. We need to bring off the players that we desperately need. So I feel personally like if we're going to go into the Bayern Munich game with this head on, the best thing to do was to be comfortably winning this football match. The problem we got is, I know we've been comfortably winning football matches away from home against the opposition such as Sheffield United, Burnley, even Brighton, but Aston Villa are no muppets. They're up there for a reason. Emery wants revenge. Emery wants to get his team into the Champions League. They're chasing Spurs right now, in my opinion, and Spurs are favourites for that 4th place. They want to be as close as they can to top 4. The only good thing is Villa play tonight. Now, I'm not praying they get loads of injuries. I'm not cruel, but obviously it would mean that it would be an opportunity for us if they were to get a knock tonight, if they were to be knackered tonight. We've had a couple of extra days rest on them. We've got a fully fit squad pretty much other than Timber. Aston Villa have got injury problems. Not with a lot of their squad, but Douglas Luiz is out. Watkins is only just back. They've still got problems, I think, in midfield and at centre-back. So I feel we have a good chance, yeah? We have a bloody good chance, man. Come on. Like, let's just be confident about this game because Aston Villa, for me, we should be able to beat them. It's not a team I look at and think, like, why would we not be able to beat them? Like, there's no chance of beating them. We do well against them normally. Away from home, a little bit tricky at times. It has been over the years, right? This season wasn't a shambles performance, but they were better than us, yeah? So, yeah, I'd make some changes. Saka would be rested. Saka would be brought on. Trossard would be brought on again. Smith Rowe would be brought on again. But for me, we need players to play for that Bayern Munich game, but sometimes we don't need to rest them for that. Tomiyasu needs to play. Jesus needs to play. Partey needs to play. These are guys that need minutes in their legs. Martinelli needs to play. Yeah? So I can't sit there in one breath and go, I need you for Wednesday. You're not playing at all Sunday. Because how are they going to play fit? These guys have got no minutes in their legs. We can't throw them in on Wednesday in one of the biggest games of the season, which it will be, by the way, now, against Bayern Munich, if they haven't been playing. So that's where I'm at. Like, real talk, that's where I'm at. I'm not going to lie and say that I think this will be comfortable. I'm not easy. This will not be a breeze in the park, walk in the park, right? But I have to be honest with you when I say that we should be winning this game. I really think we should. I don't think we should be in a situation where we go worried that we're not going to win because we're a better team. We've been in a better form. And I do think that we have ways in which we can exploit them. So Aston Villa, what do they have? They have top quality players, but they have a manager that plays a very high line. And I think that we can get in behind that line, which is why I'm looking at Martinelli, I'm looking at Jesus, and I'm looking at Havertz to be that kind of target man that can look to those options. Because if they've got a high line and you're aiming for Kai Havertz, whether it be Raya, whether it be Saliba, whether it be... He's got Saka, Martinelli, Trossard or Jesus at one point around him, yeah, whoever it's going to be, in that high line. And I think we can catch them. I think we can. I will honestly do some damage to hurt them. And that's what I'm expecting to do. So when people say to me, oh, do you think that this will be comfortable? No, I don't. But I do think that we can beat them. You know, and I feel like we should be confident. I think we should be going into this game at home against a team that we know are very good with the confidence and the belief, because some people are looking at this as a potential banana skin. Yeah, it can't be a banana skin for us. It just can't be. Manchester City have got Luton, and somebody in the chat remind me who Liverpool have got. Remind me. Is it Fulham? Who have Liverpool got this weekend? Someone in the chat, let me know. I know Man City have got Luton. Let's be real. That's going to be a simple game for them, isn't it? Bless Luton. It's at the Etihad. I imagine it will be like 3 or 4 at least. Yeah. Crystal Palace. Thank you. Let's be real. Liverpool are going to win. Liverpool are going to win against Palace at home. So Liverpool and Man City are guaranteed wins. That means Arsenal have to win. If Arsenal don't win, it's going to be ridiculously hard for us to win the league. Let's just be real, you know. And, you know, Thomas said 3-0, kill the game and rest players for Bayern. That would be the ideal scenario. Very, very difficult to do that, though, isn't it? Very difficult to do that. We can't sit there and accept that that's just going to be easy to do. So I really do hope that we can have a comfortable performance against Villa. I believe the last few results at the Emirates have been very good. I don't think we've ever had a scenario where it's been difficult for us to beat Aston Villa. There has been times at home where we haven't been able to take 3 points. I think there's a couple of periods where we drew the game, definitely lost. I remember in Arteta's COVID year where we got hammered by him when Grealish was playing. But this is a different Arsenal now. And I want to see the mindset coming back that we are a big club, that we are able to take the pressure and we are able to move forward with it. And I don't want it to be doom and gloom, because a lot of people took that as the defeat on Tuesday night. Not many people looked at that as a victory or a positive or not a victory, because it wasn't, but you get what I'm getting at in terms of positiveness. I don't think anybody looked at that in a good light, is what I'm getting at. I think a lot of people were disappointed. So let's turn that into a positive, yeah? Because apparently I'm always pessimistic and negative, right? The last time we played these guys, it was 10-2 on aggregate. The last time we played them, it was 5-1 when we went to the Emirates. Now let's look at where we're at. We've changed the personnel. We've got a new manager. There's a new mentality within. That mentality for me is better. And in fact, it's miles clear of what it was. But it's still not strong enough. Because I can roll off the tongue the games where we have not impressed this season, where it has mattered. The other night was another one of them. We weren't able to win at the Etihad. We weren't able to win at Anfield. Cool. We beat them both at home. Now let's look at some of the other big moments that we've had this season where we haven't been able to take 3 points that have disappointed us. For example, St James's Park, we lost 1-0. Villa Park, we lost 1-0. We went to Stamford Bridge and we couldn't win. We haven't been able to beat Fulham home and away this season. Now, that's different because obviously it's not huge moments, yeah? But losing to West Ham at home can happen. Losing to Fulham away could happen. Not being able to beat Fulham home and away, a bit more of a worry. But were they massive games? No. You know, you can say every game's massive if you want, but at Christmas they're not, yeah? The massive games where it matters, whether it be November, August, January or May, are the ones at Anfield, the ones at the Etihad, the North London derby at home, which we didn't win this season. Stamford Bridge is a big rival team, one that we should beat, weren't able to beat that. Chelsea side. So we've got some away games which are going to be difficult, right? After Aston Villa, we go to Wolves away, which is going to be tough. We've still got Bournemouth at home, which are on the beach, so we should be likely to think that we'd be able to beat them because we're playing for something and they're not as such. Everton at the last game of the season at home is going to be difficult because they're going to be fighting for their lives. And then, of course, we've got Chelsea at home, who are going to be trying to do all they can to get as close as they can to European football. That's why we've got the hardest fixtures, because on top of that, who are the other two away games? White Hart Lane and Old Trafford. The two games everybody's looking at. Now, I hope and pray with all my might that by the time we get to Old Trafford, Manchester United will be absolutely adamant that they do not want to beat us because they don't want Liverpool City to win the league. Now, the players and manager might not think like that, but the fan base will. They won't go into that Old Trafford game praying that Arsenal do not lose that game. They're going to want to make sure that they do all they can as a fan base so that they can prevent Liverpool City from winning the league. But unfortunately, we're going to have the same scenario with Spurs before that. We're going to go to Spurs and they're going to do everything they can to beat us. Now, you can look at other fixtures if you want. Are they going to do anything against Man City, Spurs? Are Spurs going to do anything against Liverpool? I think professionally, Postecoglou will want to. The fan base won't. And that's the difference here. We've got a fan base and we've got players and the club. What do the club want to do and what do the fans want to do? That's different. Very, very different. Because if you ask Postecoglou, does he want to turn up against Arsenal? He'll say yes. If you ask him, does he want to turn up against Man City? He'll say yes. Because he wants to go as high as he can up the table. But the fans, they'd be more than happy to roll over against Man City and beat Arsenal. Because it puts a dent in our title race. Manchester United would be more than happy to roll over against Arsenal and make sure they do all they can to take points off the other two. Because that's what they're about. They want, as a fan base, Arsenal to win the league. So I just feel like there's so much football to play. It's going to be very difficult for people to predict it still. But I know what I think and what my gut feeling is. I know that Manchester City are going to win all their games. Their run does not look difficult. They've got Brighton away, they've got Forest away, they've got Fulham away. Are they difficult? No. They can be on their day, but they're not difficult. You don't look at them and go, can't see how they're going to win. Can't see it. Don't quite get how that's going to happen. Not for me, not one that I look at and think, yeah, I can't see Man City picking up points there. I can see them beating Forest away this year. They drew to them last year. I can see them beating away this year. They lost to them last year. And I can see them beating Fulham away. But I do actually think that one could be the trickiest one because Fulham, you just don't know what you're going to get. but their home games they're going to win. They really are. It starts with Luton. So I think Man City are going to win all their games. Does that mean they win the league? No. They're looking at us or Liverpool to drop. And I think both of us probably will. I think both of us probably will. I've said that I feel we're going to drop in the North London derby, and I don't think we'll lose. I think we'll draw. And I think that Liverpool have got potential banana skins against two. One of them was Manchester United, and I just felt like the other was Fulham, and I don't know why. I just feel like because we've lost there, and because Spurs got hammered there, Fulham can turn it on. They nearly beat Liverpool at Anfield, by the way. They were 3-2 up, yeah, and they lost 4-3, if you remember, in the very, very early light, or was it 2-1 and they lost 3-2? I can't remember, something like that. So for me, I don't know. I just fancy Fulham to potentially have a bit of a say in this title race, have to play Liverpool and Man City at Craven Cottage. I think it's tough. I think it's a tough place to go. There's no easy way to go. I don't expect Liverpool to draw or lose against West Ham, but that's the other one that could be tough at West Ham. Manchester City, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. So that's that. I wanted to touch on the other two very quickly. I wanted to pose a question in the chat to people about who they believe the player of the season will be, because we're coming to the close where a lot of nominees will go forward. I think if we look at the player of the season so far, it will depend who wins the league, who wins it. If Arsenal win the league, I think it'll be Declan Rice. If Man City win the league, I think it'll be Phil Foden. And if Liverpool win the league, I think it'll be Virgil van Dijk. Now, there's other players you can look at in the Liverpool side. Alexis McAllister has been fantastic, probably one of the signings of the season. Trent was phenomenal up until his injury, in my opinion, was one of the players of the year. Arsenal got Gabriel and Saliba to thank alongside Declan Rice that could be put forward as a mention. And of course, Manchester City will look at players like Kevin De Bruyne and even Akanji, who I think has been one of their best players this season, alongside Phil Foden. Because of De Bruyne's injuries, people might not question him and put him in the mix, but I think the assists is just phenomenal. And when he is there, he scores. So for me, right now as it stands, if I was to pick one, I'd be biased and go with Declan Rice. But I think if we're honest about it, it will depend who wins. All three of those players walk into the team of the season for me. Yeah, Declan Rice, Virgil van Dijk and Phil Foden walk into it. You can do a team of the season now already, but that could change. You know, that could change. I think if I'm picking it now, Alisson in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold right back, Virgil van Dijk and Gabriel at centre back, left back Udogie, probably midfielders of Rodri, Rice and Kevin De Bruyne, Foden, Salah and Haaland. Have I missed anyone? Yeah, I think that's probably what I would say. But everyone's got different opinions. Some people might put Foden in the middle and put Saka and Salah out wide, or Son out wide, or up front they might want to put Ollie Watkins or someone as well, because people might play different positions. But that's what I'll be thinking at the top of my head. I'd have to look at it on paper. But I wanted to ask in the chat who you think it would be, man. So let me know. Just put it in the chat. Who do you think is player of the season? Is it Rice? Is it Foden? Is it Van Dijk? Is it someone else? Is it someone I've completely missed and would not even be thinking of? Let me know what your thoughts on that, guys, because I really truly believe it will come down to who wins this league. I really do. And I think there's an unbelievable opportunity for all three clubs to do it. It is a mad ending. So we look at the running, we look at the Champions League, and we look at the Europa League. Now, Liverpool got Atalanta, Arsenal got Bayern in the second leg, Man City have got Real Madrid in the second leg. I don't think it's changed with Man City or Arsenal, anything that they do in the league, because it's a draw in both games. So if Man City would have won 3-0 against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu, you might have thought, wow, that is not the result you ought to be seeing for the title contenders, right? If Arsenal would have done it, everybody would have looked at us, Liverpool and City, like, oh my God, Arsenal have battered Bayern Munich now as well, 3-0. But because that hasn't happened and that hasn't been the case, and we've got to wait and see what happens with Liverpool Atlanta, I don't think it will change massively people's thoughts on who will win the league. I really don't. Like, if it was a kind of massive shock the other night, then you might want to change your opinions. But I don't think either of those results changed my opinion on who I think will win the league and where I think Arsenal will finish. I still feel Like if I had to pick it right now, Arsenal will still just miss out. And I think it will be Man City that win the league with Arsenal second, Liverpool third. Because I think Liverpool will definitely drop. It's just going to be difficult for me. Because does it really matter if you finish second or third if you're one game away from it? Not really. It's more about the points in it as opposed to the position at this stage. If it was like, I need to get fourth, not fifth, because it's Champions League, or I need to get sixth, not seventh, because it's Europa, you can talk about why position might matter. But if you're in the top four, yeah, and you've got Champions League football, and you're a three-way race, it don't really matter if you don't win it, if you come second or third, to me, yeah? If we come third place and we're 12 points off the top, that's much more disappointing than coming third place 2 points off the top, right? So that's the way I see it. I personally don't believe you can look at it in too much detail of how we finished the season points-wise and place-wise. I think you've got to look at how close we are to the top points-wise. That's my opinion, right? That's my opinion. And to close, people will talk about the other thing, right? Mikel Arteta. Where do we stand on him? How does it work? What's happening there? Is there anybody you feel can get to a stage of do we need to replace him? Do we stick with him? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like we can get any. Sorry, I've just got a message through. I don't feel we can go anywhere near sacking Mikel Arteta. Now, there's a few people that you'll know that I do share content with. Northside is one of them. The Gunner's one of them. Troops on occasion that have said, I don't him if he doesn't win anything. And at the start of the season, I thought that was fair because this can't go on forever. We've got to get across the line. But there's massive context to how we don't get across the line. Now, I still don't forgive him for getting dumped out of the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, right? That just doesn't sit well with me, whatever. But he's got us to the quarterfinal of the Champions League, which is the first time we've got there in, I think it's a ridiculous amount of years. We've also looking, I think it's 14 years, someone said, right? We're also challenging for the second year running against probably the two best managers in world football, would you say? Certainly in the top three if you had Carlo Ancelotti in there. They're both in the same league. They've both got a squad which is experienced in compared to ours that knows how to win things. We're up against the best manager in world football and probably the best manager I've ever seen with a side that's just won the treble. If you can take them all the way and you can impress in the Champions League, I really don't see how Arteta could lose his job. And this is coming from me, someone who had huge concerns when he first joined, didn't want a 5-year project. Now we've got to the 5-year project and it's over. You can look at things differently now and go, right, there's no more waiting 5 years. Let's win now. But we have got to get across this line. We have actually got to go across the line and win one of these major honours. We've got to win a Champions League or a Premier League this season because this team deserves to win something, man. This team deserves to. This team's had the best goal scoring record, the best clean sheets, the best defensive record, the unbelievable players like such as Declan Rice, the team performances Saliba and Gabriel have put in, the departments and partnerships we now have, the little bit of strength in depth that has now started to continue with. This team deserves to win something. I'm sorry, it does. It deserved to win the league last season until we got to Anfield. That was where it went wrong. This season, I think we deserve to win one of those competitions. And at the moment, I would say we deserve to win the league. Yeah. Feeling the way that we are and the way that we have, getting to the end of this season and still finishing trophyless will hurt. It will hurt big time. But one thing I won't do, if it ends the way I expect it to, is to call for this manager's head, which is something I've done pretty much most seasons, right? I didn't feel like we could keep hold of this manager because I didn't believe he was going to take us to a title race. He's taken us to a title race. What's he done the season after that? He's taken us to another title race. So Mikel Arteta has changed people's opinions. He's proved doubters wrong. He's proved believers wrong because believers thought he'd get top 4 when he went into a title race. He proved doubters wrong who said that he wouldn't get us to a title or win us anything. And I feel now what people are starting to believe is that, yeah, he's proved doubters wrong that he could challenge. But actually, there's a belief now that he could prove doubters wrong that he can win us something. Because this side has got an average age of 26, which means that when players like Saliba and Saka and Martinelli grow into developing in the next couple of years, we'll be ready. And I feel like we're ready right now. Right now. But if those couple of years mean that we don't get that Champions League, I think they'll be ready. The last thing I'll say before we come to a close, and big up to all of you for being here, right? What do we need to ensure next season we get across the line? A lot of people talk to me about what Arsenal currently are needing in the transfer market, and I think it's a great discussion. But the first thing we need to do this summer is to clear out. Let's clear out before we bring in. One, because we need to for positions and spaces in the squad, but two, we need to for FFP and those kind of things, right? I look at it right now, and I think we've got a very good team. But it's short, man. It's short in probably 4 or 5 places, 4 or 5 positions. If we want the perfect team, we're going to have to buy 4 or 5 players in the summer. So what do we do in terms of bringing some of the money in? Well, Aaron Ramsdale is probably going to leave the club. Whether we're going to get 35 million for him or not, I've no idea how much we're getting for him. But I know for a fact that Manchester United, Chelsea, Newcastle, and maybe clubs abroad would be interested in him. So that's one player and one position we've got to replace. Now, for me, people might think this is brutal, but I would actually upgrade on David Raya instead of bringing up a number 2. I think David Raya has been a good goalkeeper, and I think he's done very, very well. But I don't think he's the elite that we need. I honestly don't think he's the elite that we need. I think if we went and bought Michael Maignan from AC Milan, Donnarumma, or somebody of that quality, I think he would definitely upgrade upon Ramsdale and Raya. Ramsdale will go, Raya's number 2, and then we get our world-class goalkeeper in. That's what I would like to see happen. What do I think we'll do? Nah, I think we'll go and get our backup goalkeeper that can back up David Raya, an experienced head in the ilk of somebody like Kasper Schmeichel, let's say. That's what I think we'll probably end up doing. Is that the right thing or not? I don't know. But 2 world-class goalkeepers or 2 number 1 goalkeepers is never going to work. So we're going to have to make that decision. So that's the first area we've got to look at is goalkeeper. Cedric's going to go. Tierney's going to go. And we still don't have cover for Saliba. So maybe at fullback, we were not as bad as people thought. Timber, Tomiyasu, Kivior, Zinchenko can all play at left back. Timber, White, and Tomiyasu can all play at right back. But at centre back, we've only really got Gabriel and Kivior for left centre back. And for right centre back, we've only got Saliba. And then we have to shift one of Tomiyasu or Ben White or Timber into the right back scenario, right centre back scenario. So for me, I think we have to go and look at Diomande from Sporting Lisbon. Now, I know that there's rumours of him going to Liverpool, and it would not be good if Amorim was to go to Liverpool because he might bring him there with him. But I do believe that we have an unbelievable chance to go and get this guy. He's 20 years old. He looks an absolute monster. He's a beast. He looks like a Kenyatte type player, to be fair. I'm a big, big fan of what I'm seeing and hearing about this lad. So that would be a perfect signing for me. And then we have our defence and our goalkeeper complete. Then we move to the next area, midfield. This is going to be ridiculously hard this season because it's going to need some surgery. We need to get rid of Lokonga. We need to get rid of Nun Tavares. We need to get rid of El Neni, who's going to go on a free. And then we look at who we've got in the centre midfield position. Forget the attacking midfield options for a moment. We've got Partey, Jorginho, and Rice. We've got our holding midfielders, but we need our box-to-box. We need a ball carrier. We need someone who can be relied upon. Because Declan Rice, I think, is probably going to be the number 6 for Arsenal. Now, I know Arteta might like him to play in the 8 occasionally, but if you look at him, he's a 6. Can play 8. Not an 8 that can play 6. It's the other way around. There's a 6 that can play 8. And I think we keep, when everyone's fit, Rice in that 6. And I think we go buy somebody like Frankie de Jong. Now, I don't know if Barcelona will want to sell him. I don't know if de Jong would want to leave. I know that they've got financial difficulties at the moment. But I look at Barcelona and I look at what Frankie de Jong is. And I hear his interviews that he wants to come and play for Arsenal because he's following the footsteps of Overmars and he's played for Ajax and Barca. There's only one club left. I would love Frankie de Jong. I'd absolutely love him. He'd be my number 1 in midfield, right? Imagine a midfield of Rice, de Jong and Ødegaard. That's a beautiful midfield with Partey and Jorginho covering. And then obviously you've got your attacking players after that as well. But Frankie de Jong is probably the one player that I look at as potentially unrealistic. So the player I would look to go for would be Fofana from Monaco. And I think the Cello's mentioned it. I think Fofana would be a great player. I think he's a beast. I think he's a monster. I think he's a box-to-box player. I think he's comfortable on the ball. I think he's got physical attributes. I really, really like him. And I believe he's got a release clause as well, you know. So for me, that would be a really good option for us. Zubimendi, I don't think that we'll get Zubimendi if we get him keeping Partey, Rice and Jorginho, because it's just another one of those that plays in a deep lying midfield position. That I just can't see happening. And Newcastle have been linked with him today. The other option is Bruno Guimaraes, because Newcastle are linked with Zubimendi, which means that I imagine with Tonali coming back from his ban, Zubimendi coming in if that's the case, Joe Linton, Willock, and the players they've got, Bruno Guimaraes is linked with leaving Newcastle for their PFR stuff, right? Profit sustainability stuff. So I believe he could go, and I would love for us to go and get him, man. He's an absolute beast. That guy does everything in midfield. He's quality. Horrible player to play against. Got a nasty side about him. So I will say, I think that would be a really, really good option if we can't get somebody like Frankie de Jong. But that midfielder, we need to have, it needs to be a big player. It can't be a Zubimendi, or can't even really be like a Douglas Luiz, in my opinion. It has to be someone you look at and go, core. Everybody in the world are looking at him. That's why I'm looking at Bruno G or Frankie de Jong. I'd love someone like them. I really would. So that's the options there. In terms of the attacking midfield role, we have to decide what we're doing with Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira, because I don't think both of those can stay at the club. I really don't. Reece Nelson and Eddie Nketiah are the other two, along with Marquinhos and Charlie Patino and players like that that probably need to be thinking about leaving. But then we've got at right wing, kind of problem. Saka is the only one. Now, Jesus can play there, to be fair. That would be one option. And you buy a centre forward. Or you go and buy somebody like Pedro Neto, who, yeah, has got injury problems. And Michael Elise, yeah, injury problems. Nico Williams is another one that's mentioned. A player that I like. Xavi Simons would be another good option for me. But we need somebody in that position. Saka can't play the whole time, man. It's ridiculous. So Xavi Simons would be probably a good signing because he can play attacking wise if Erdegaard's not there, or he can go and shift to the right. Smith Rowe, decision needs to be made. Fabio Vieira, he ain't for me, but a decision needs to be made. We've got Martinelli and Trossard on the left, but up top, Kai Havertz can play there for sure. Jesus can play there for sure, but we need that number 9. And for me, Eddie Nketiah takes that number 14 shirt off because he's going to be sold, and we give it to Alexander Isak. That would be my number 1. Yeah. I think my number 2 would be Victor Gyökeres, because he's absolutely killing it over in Sporting Lisbon, and he's proven in England. And then my third choice would probably be Victor Osimhen. I don't think Tony's going to happen, or Watkins or any of that. I just don't see that happening personally. I don't think Arteta seems to want him. The links were never really as strong, I don't feel, as people were making out. But I could be wrong. That's where I'm at. So goalkeeper, centre-back, right-sided, right winger, midfielder, and centre forward. That's 5 positions that we need. And some might think that we can need 6 because there might be a couple other people that want to switch around, or they might want to say, yeah, actually, we do need a left back, or we do need a attacking midfielder again, creative wise. Can't just leave Erdegaard there. That's fine. But my point is, we can keep improving. So if Cedric and El Neni go, and Jorginho was to go, and we lost the likes of Tavares, Lokonga, Smith Rowe, Nelson, and Nketiah, these sort of guys went, then yeah, we've got enough room to bring some players in. We've got to also remember homegrown. That's massively important. So if we're losing Nketiah, Smith Rowe, and Reece Nelson, they're 3 homegrown lads. It's good for the 100% profit thing, but also it's not for the homegrown stuff. So that's what we've got to look at there. That's where I'm at. 5 players, man. 5 players in the summer, and Arsenal go again. But so much to play for. Don't want to look too far ahead. So much to play for at this moment in time. We're going to be in a position, ideally, anyway, where we win on Sunday and go into one of the biggest games we've had in European history for a long time against Bayern Munich. What do I think will happen on Sunday? Well, you know my team. What I would go with. What team do I expect? This is the team I expect Mikel Arteta to pick. Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Jorginho, Rice, Erdegaard, Saka, Havertz, Martinelli. That's what I think he'll go with. I wouldn't, but you saw what team I would pick. If you haven't and you're just joining, go back and check it out on this stream. Just wind it back because I went through the team that I would play. For Bayern Munich, things change. My prediction for this weekend, I'm going to go for 2-0 Arsenal. I am. I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal. I think we can get the job done. And I don't think it's going to be a breeze. I don't think it's going to be comfortable. But I think we'll get the job done. And I think we'll then move on to Bayern. My team for Bayern would change slightly. It would. My team for Bayern, I would go with Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tomiyasu. Jorginho would play in the away leg with Rice and Ødegaard. And I would go with Saka, Jesus and Martinelli. And my subs would be Trossard and Havertz and those men to come on from the bench to try and change it up a bit. That's what I would do. But long way to go. Concentrate on Aston Villa first. We see how we go from there. Make sure you do me a favour, people. Smash a like on this. There's 250 of you. How are we doing on likes? We haven't even hit 100. Come on, people. Let's make sure we smash the like button, please. And hit subscribe. They're the only two things I need you to do for me. Hit like and subscribe. We're only on 74 likes. That's poor. Come on. You could do much better than that before we get out of here. So hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you click on the pinned comment, please, after this video, and it will take you through to Surfshark VPN. All you got to do is click it in the comments, and it will take you straight there, and then you can purchase it. It is well worth it. It will not let you down. I cannot stress enough how important it is for you to click on this button and get it for yourself, because you will thank me as soon as you get it. It is absolutely phenomenal. So please make sure that you click on VPN for Surfshark, and we will see you next time. Take it easy, people. Back at 7 p.m. for a Premier League fan debate. We get loads of fans on to talk later, so please make sure that you're there for that. And then over at 8:30 tonight, I'll be on Lee Judge's TV, so make sure you're there for that. Also, see you next time. Take it easy, people. Laters.